Hello dear learners, I am Sudhanshu Shekhar Pandya, Assistant Professor in History, Odisha State Open University. Now I will talk about the history of archaeology in India. Your paper PHI 104, that is the basic principles and methods in archaeology. So, introduction. What is archaeology? What is the role of archaeology in India? Archaeology in India refers to the scientific study of human past through the material, culture and analysis, and especially the past civilizations to found across the Indian subcontinent. It helps to reconstruct the ancient India's past. The discipline developed gradually from early antiquarian interest to the systematic scientific field. Early explorations were carried out by travelers, historians, and colonial scholars. The creation of Archaeological Survey of India. Remember that Archaeological Survey of India (ASI) marked a major step towards the systematical archaeological research. Archaeological research, especially the ancient civilization like the Indus Valley civilization, or we can say the Harappan civilization, is one of the great contributions in the history of archaeology. Now let us discuss about the early antiquarianist interest in India. So interest in Indian antiquities began with the travelers and scholars who recorded the ancient monuments. Especially there are a number of pilgrimage and foreign travelers, they come to India to document the inscriptions, to document the certain pilgrimage sites. For example, Chinese pilgrim Yungang documented Buddhist monasteries and ancient cities in India. Medieval chronicles also describe about the temples, stupas and historical sites. European travelers in 16th to 18th century, they visited India, observed and recorded Indian monuments, especially during the era of Delhi Sultanate, during the era of Mughals and other minor ruling dynasties. They recorded Indian monuments and inscriptions. These efforts helped to preserve many Indian artifacts and monuments. However, these studies lacked scientific and excavation methods. But later, next we talk about the early colonial archaeology. We talk about the 18th and 19th century. Archaeological exploration in India began systematically during the British colonial period. When the Britishers came to India with their technology, with their advanced equipment, it is very easy and it is very helpful for archaeological excavations and explorations to document a particular archaeological site. Now the British administrators and scholars showed the interest, especially studying India's ancient history and past. Scholars began documenting inscriptions, coins and architectural remains. For example, inscriptions of OSOU, the inscriptions of Mauryan emperors, the inscriptions of Delhi Sultanate. A number of manuscripts were preserved during the time of Britishers. Collection of artifacts were preserved in museums. In that period, dear learners, in that period, there are a number of museums were established during the 19th century. So, they preserve the monuments, they preserve the stone tools, they preserve the artifacts for the further studies. Now, let us discuss about the establishment of Archaeological Survey of India, or we can say the ASI. Remember that, dear learners, it is the first organization in India to collect the antiquities, to collect the artifacts, to preserve the monuments. It was the first time the Archaeological Survey of India established in 1861. In 1861 to conduct systematic archaeological research in India. The variety, especially if we talk about the 1921, the Harappan civilization, the important cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro was excavated by the Archaeological Survey of India. It was the most important contribution of ASI. It aimed to document, preserve and study ancient monuments and archaeological sites. It helped to identify and record the historical monuments and ancient settlements. Archaeological reports and research publications were produced regularly. Museums and archives were established to preserve archaeological artifacts. The ASI became the institution. It became the institution for archaeological research in India. So let us discuss about the contribution of Sir Alexander Cunningham. Alexander Cunningham. Who was Alexander Cunningham? Alexander Cunningham is the father of Indian archaeology. Why he was called the father of Indian archaeology? Because of his efforts. Archaeological Survey of India was set up for the documentation of preservation of antiquities. He became the first DG, or we can say the Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. He conducted extensive historical sites surveys across the northern India. He used the ancient text and accounts to identify the archaeological site. He studied the inscriptions, coins and architectural remains. His work contributed significantly to reconstruct the ancient Indian history. His contributions laid the foundation of modern archaeological research in India later. Now we will talk about the development of scientific archaeology. What is the development of scientific archaeology? Archaeology in India became the discipline or more scientific during the late 19th and early 20th century. Scholars began applying scientific excavation techniques. Stratigraphy, you know stratigraphy, study of layers, study of stratas. So it carefully recording of the archaeological layers became more important. Archaeologists began classifying artifacts based on their chronology and style. Scientific analysis helped cultural sequence and historical developments. Now let us talk about the discovery of Indus Valley Civilization. The most important Indus Valley Civilization, IVC. One of the most important civilization in the history of India was the Indus Valley Civilization. The civilization was first identified through Harappa and Mohenjo-daro as the two cities excavations, and these discoveries highly advanced urban civilization of Bronze Age. The cities of the evidence plain streets, drainage system, brick architecture, pottery, stone tools, sculptures, the dockyard system, the civilization demonstrated the advanced trade and economic activities. We know also about the contributions of Sir John Marshall. Who is John Marshall? John Marshall served as the Director General of Archaeological Survey of India after Alexander Cunningham. He introduced the systematic excavation technique and scientific archaeological methods. During his rule, during his period of John Marshall, the Harappa and Mohenjo-daro was excavated. His work helped the existence of Indus Valley Civilization. He improved the organization and function of Archaeological Survey of India. Archaeological publications, research reports were expanded during his period. He promoted research in interest in Indian art and architecture. He was only scholar who worked greatly influenced by the development of modern archaeology in India. Now let us talk about the Mortimer Wheeler. Another archaeologist, Mortimer Wheeler played a crucial role modernizing archaeological excavation methods in India. He introduced the grid system of excavation. Later we discuss about the excavation technique. There are a number of excavation. One of them is the grid excavation. Grid excavation technique was developed by Mortimer Wheeler. Wheeler emphasized stratigraphy and careful documentation of finds. Archaeological field schools were organized under his guidance. For example, in Delhi, if you found the Pandit Dindwal Institute of Archaeology, many archaeological wings in different universities like Banaras Hindu University, like Pune University, like Mumbai University, there are a number of archaeological wings in many universities, like the underwater archaeology. So during his efforts, during his contributions, Wheeler conducted important excavation at several historical sites. His work helped professional archaeological training in India. Now let us discuss about the post-independence archaeology. After independence in 1947, archaeological research in India expanded significantly. The ASI, the Archaeological Survey of India, continued its work under Government of India. There are a number of several schools of Archaeological Survey of India were established in the different parts of India. For example, in Odisha, the Puri Circle, the Bhubaneswar Circle were also set up in India for the archaeological research, for the enhancement of archaeological research in Odisha. Scientific dating techniques such as radiocarbon dating were introduced. Archaeologists began studying prehistoric and protohistoric cultures in details. Now let us talk about the modern archaeological methods. Modern archaeological methods, especially the remote sensing, the GPS technology, the radiocarbon dating. Radiocarbon dating also help us to find out the proper date of an antiquities. Bioarchaeology studies human remains to understand the health and lifestyle. Radiocarbon dating is called the help of understanding the age of archaeological materials. Environmental archaeology also reconstruct the ancient climate and ecosystems. Archaeologists collaborate with scientists in various disciplines. So now let us discuss about the conclusion. The history of archaeology in India reflects gradual development with scientific discipline. Starting from the early 14th to 15th century up to the 19th century, and after the post-independence period, archaeology evolved as a great discipline in India. The establishment of Archaeological Survey of India (ASI) played a crucial role in this development. Important scholars such as Alexander Cunningham, John Marshall, Mortimer Wheeler, their contribution and their significant contributions created a landmark in the history of annals of Indian archaeology. So archaeology plays a vital role preserving India's cultural heritage, and future research will continue to deepen our understanding of India's rich historical past. So that is all about history of development of Indian archaeology. Thank you so much, dear learners.